Did that train leave? Or we told people earlier in the year, get on this bandwagon, right? We said get on. Don't be in or out. Punch your ticket, get on. When you see them doors open, don't stand and wait for the next train. Are we still letting people onto this wagon? Can they
Nah,
still get on?
we doing just like we do on a red line when people hold the door, being a little asshole, you push them right out. Nah, you get on the train, bro. Bear down. I know it's been like 20 degrees outside. All you transplants in Chicago, lock in. Tighten up. Because this is the real Chicago weather. Q, was you out there getting them one of them free glizzies from the winning circle today?
I did not get a free glizzy. I turned down glizzies because I'm not a transplant.
Whoa. What do you mean by that? Well, what are you saying? You say hot dogs is
No offense, and nobody's creed or gender. None. I'm just not a transplant, so I'm not eating wieners.
I mean, wait. Okay. So the pizza thing, you might be able to sell that to me as like a tourist thing. I'm talking about like deep dish, even though I really think that's kind of crossing the line. But you might be able to make the argument. Hot dogs is official tissue Chicago though. Q.
It is, but the younger generation made us not be able to eat them. Looking all weird in our mouths. You know what? You're right. You know what? Ain't nothing wrong with having a Polish or a glizzy.
Mm,
I'm secure in my
that's right.
masculinity. I'm gonna eat.
No ketchup though. Don't do that. Don't do the ketchup. That's weirdo sauce.
I can't make no promises about the ketchup on it. I don't know. Try it on there. I know the mustard, the relish, and the onion, but I'm just saying,
No,
don't knock it till you
ketchup
try
is the
it.
most worthless condiment. I don't hate it. It doesn't move the
I would
needle.
say pickles are.
Well, you talking about in general or just on the glizzy, on the Chicago glizzy?
I'm talking about in general and on a burger. Pickles are
No,
terrible. I'll do
you lost me.
relish on a glizzy. Relish, not
No,
pickles.
no, you lost me.
Pickles ruin every burger or chicken sandwich they ever been
That's
on.
diabolical. That's slanderous, Q.
What is good about a sour piece of vegetation going on your burger? That just ruins the natural flavor of the
It's a
burger.
contrast.
Nah, I don't need that type of contrast. Listen, I had enough contrast. I grew up in a GD neighborhood with Vice Lords down the street. Kings was on Clark. That was enough contrast. I'm tired of contrast.
I got you. I feel you. But look, man, as far as food though, I mean, the best foods in Chicago had that contrast. Got the glizzy with the pickle on it, and the you got popcorn with the cheddar and the caramel. I mean, a little mix and match never hurt nobody. It's fact in the hood. What do you do? You put the Doritos and the Flamin' Hots in the same bag. Come on, man. Come on.
With the meat and cheese?
No, that's too far. I never got into that. That was just too much. And listen, in high school, a lot of motherfuckers was eating that for breakfast.
With the honey bun. You one of them super donut eaters?
I love a super donut. Not eating them now.
Them donuts have no flavor.
Oh, but they amazing though.
They had no
But they
flavor.
warmed up. You don't need no flavor. Warmed up, them things is crucial. Them things is amazing warmed up. But yeah, that was breakfast for a lot of my homies, from ages 14 to 17. You got the meat and cheese Doritos with the Flamos, honey bun, and a super donut and a milk.
And I don't see how the milk. This is why we got so many gastrointestinal problems now. EPS lunches used to really give us that little block piece of pizza with some milk. How did that go together?
Nah, it didn't. I couldn't afford the fresh pizza at lunchtime. I ain't had no money like that. I was on reduced lunch. So the only time I got pizza was the next morning, the leftover pizza. I got that for 30 cents with the milk. Oh, listen, my stomach was fucked up. First,
That's why we got these problems now.
First period was hell. If you was on that row, sitting on that row with me in algebra 2, my bad.
Talk about No Child Left Behind.
Yeah, I mean, if you sat behind me, you was in trouble. So you got a big surprise if you started your day sitting behind me in homeroom or first period. But we want to talk about some of these burning questions because it's a long week. The Bears played this past Friday and they don't play again this Sunday. So we got a good 9 days in between game time as we enter the last full month of the season. After that terrible loss in week 2, everybody was questioning if this was more the same from the Bears. Ben told everybody, listen, we won't be playing our best football come December, not second week of September, right? Q, it's now September 2nd. The Bears are 9-3 after a statement win over the Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles. Not just a statement win, a dominating win. I started this off talking about surprises. Are the Bears the biggest surprise in the league this year?
You know what? I think they're a surprise to NFL. I don't think it was a surprise to us because I think in the preseason preview, I think you had 11 wins. I think I had 10 wins. So we definitely thought this was a playoff caliber team. I think the Patriots are my surprise. I did not see Mike Vrabel turning this team around at this level so soon. So I would say the Bears, maybe on a national level, the surprise team, but to us, we told y'all this is gonna happen. We believed even after the beatdown in Detroit, we still felt this team would finish well and have a playoff push.
Mike Vrabel was high on a lot of people's lists. In fact, I think when we were still when the Bears were still looking for their head coach, I think you and maybe even me, I don't recall, but he had Mike Vrabel at the top of our list too, right? Because he's coaching the NFL.
I think we had him 1B. I think Tiff had him 1. I definitely had Ben Johnson 1A, but I would not have been mad about Vrabel. Vrabel was my 1B.
Now that I think about it, I think Vrabel was my number 1, and I had Aaron Glenn as my 2A, just for the simple thought that I knew the Bears needed a culture change. And we all figured with the way Vrabel coaches, the way Vrabel runs his locker rooms, and him having head coaching experience and head coaching success, playoff wins. You know, he resurrected a quarterback's career in Ryan Tannehill. But we thought that this is a perfect match made in heaven. But we always knew that opening in New England, he's probably going to end up back there. So it was really just which Detroit Lions coach are we going to bring into Chicago?
Yeah.
Right. And Vrabel was high on a lot of people's lists. So I think when they started the season 1-3, like you said, started the season with a loss to the Raiders. Like, how bad is that loss now? They started the season with a loss to the Raiders. They won week 2 and then lost again in week 3. Compound all of that offseason noise from Stephon Diggs and how Drake May started the season in September. It was looking like, hey, the Bears are 0-2. They're sputtering around. The Denver Broncos, they started the season 1-2. Bo Nix is still sputtering around and they looking kind of confused and whatever. It was some questions about all 3 of them teams, what kind of direction they gonna have. But they are young quarterbacks and two of the 3 having new head coaches. Now look at all 3. 10-game win streak for the Patriots. 2 4-win win streaks for the Bears. A 8-game win streak for the Broncos. 9-game win streak for the Broncos.
9 game. Yeah.
I think I want to agree with you, Q, just because of, for one, we assume the Bears will be here. We assume that the Bears are going to do what they're doing right now. Now, how they got here has been a wild roller coaster, but we always had that feeling like, yeah, all we need is a guy that's going to point us in the right direction. We got the talent. We won these off seasons back to back to back. All we need is a guy that can actually map out the pathway to get to where we need to be. Ben, he was the belle of the ball. If we couldn't win with Ben, it was gonna be hell to pay. But so yeah, I think I agree with you. I did not see the New England Patriots getting to the best record in the league? That's crazy.
11-2. And I'm a guy, and I like Drake
Hmm.
May. I like Drake May. I thought there was a little bit more. I thought they needed more weapons around him, and I thought he needed another season. Now he might be the front runner for
Oh,
MVP right now.
I'm definitely giving him my vote. He got my vote because everybody in the AFC is flawed, Patriots included. 10-game win streak, be damned. Every team in the AFC is flawed. He's covering up a lot of those offensive issues in New England. And shout out to Stephon Diggs. You know, I did second time mentioning him. I thought he was washed. He's being a pretty good leader. Everything you hear out of Boston right now is that he's the one keeping that locker room in check. He's keeping everybody 10 toes down. Off the field, Stephon might be something different, but on the field, on the field, Diggs, he got everybody tapped in. Shout out to him and congrats on another healthy birth.
Another one. And another one. DJ Khaled voice.
Hey,
Got a few of them.
my man likes fathering. Yeah, shout out to him. We need more.
The Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply."
He did.
He's doing the Lord's work.
He is. Thank you. So I don't have to do it. Yeah, I'll agree that the Bears are a big surprise, at least for most NFL fans, not to us. But does that mean that Ben Vrabel will beat out Ben Johnson for Coach of the Year?
This is probably the tightest Coach of the Year race with the most amount of qualified candidates that I've seen in a long time, because Vrabel's doing a great job. You can make the case for him. They're 11-2. The Bears, one of the things that people doubted the Bears for being a surprise team and ascending to the playoffs this year was their strength of schedule. You know, we came from a division with 3 teams with 11 plus wins, and that's 6 games against them. We played the Eagles this year. We played the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers. So people were saying, or a common thought that I ran into, not common thought, common thought. Common thought I ran into was the Bears could win 8 games and be much improved, but still be under 500 due to their schedule. When I look at the Coach of the Year, I thought McVay was a leading candidate. I don't know if he is after that loss to the Panthers, but he's in the discussion still. I mean, there's still 5 games left. McDonald's in the discussion. Shanahan dealing with all those injuries. He's in the discussion. Steichen is done now. Peyton is in the discussion. But I think those other teams, besides the Bears and Patriots, they were kind of expected to be playoff caliber teams. So, going with what has been narratives and tradition, generally speaking, the Coach of the Year is awarded to a coach that undertakes a massive 1-year turnaround. So I think with the Bears story, if they could maintain a number 1 seed in the NFC, I think Ben Johnson has a great shot at this Coach of the Year. Now it's also going to depend on how Vrabel and the Patriots finish, but I think if Ben can stay within a game of the Patriots or match that record, I think he's got to be Coach of the Year favorite, just because we all heard about how difficult the Bears' schedule is. And in fairness, the next 5 games have a high degree of difficulty. You have the Packers twice. You have the Niners. You have the Lions. You have mighty Shador and the Cleveland Browns defense. The Bears finishing with 12 wins would still be a challenge. But I think if Ben can finish with 12, 13 wins, plus the Patriots just went out, I have him as Coach of the Year favorite.
I'll make the argument for Ben. One, you already said AFC pretty weak this year.
There's nothing in the AFC East. No disrespect to the Bills, but they have not looked Super Bowl contender worthy this year. And the Dolphins and Jets have not been good at all. They're in contention for the number 1 draft pick.
AFC East and the entire AFC as a whole. I mean, if you just look at the in the hunt graphic, the Bengals and their playoff chances are still alive. They're 4 and what? 4-8, 4-9 right now. Come on. And it,
4-8.
in the NFC, if the Bears lose this next game to the Packers, this Sunday, they go from number 1 to number 7, the last playoff spot. Because the team that's in the last playoff spot right now is 9-4 San Francisco 49ers. A lot more difficult to navigate the NFC this year than it is the AFC. That's one for Ben. If Ben can continue to move mountains and put the Bears into a home playoff game, I give Ben the edge over Vrabel in that particular one. Another one, too. Ben Johnson's a first-time head coach, and you come out and do this in your first year versus Vrabel. Vrabel is way more seasoned. He's been a head coach before. He's coached in the playoffs before. Like I already said, he's had a reclamation project with Ryan Tannehill. He lost that job, and now he's doing head coaching again. He knows the ropes. Short of going 15-2, you shouldn't be head coaching job in your first year with your new team as of already being a head coach when you got somebody like Ben Johnson, what he's doing over there on the other side. I think the rookie head coach should get the upper hand in that discussion as well. Number 3 for Ben Johnson, injuries. You already talked about all the injuries they've navigated over there in Denver. Chicago's had injuries up the wazoo. Now, haven't had them for the offensive line. A lot of for the first time, it seemed like a generation. Chicago's had the benefit of having a healthy offensive line versus where everybody else in the league, Chargers, Denver Broncos, and a lot of other people, Oakland Raiders. Well, not the Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders. They've all had injuries up and down the offensive line. The Bears have been pretty much healthy, but everywhere else on the team, offensive running backs, the running back room, DeAndre Swift has missed games. DJ Moore had to go to the hospital after the Commanders game. Defense, no linebackers that we broke camp with that was supposed to actually get time. Two straight games.
We've had guys off the practice squad.
Thank you for bringing the practice squad. Theo Benedict started a good chunk of these games on the offensive line out of the Bears practice squad. Nahshon Wright, the Vikings practice squad last year. He has been the left cornerback for the whole season because Jalen Johnson has played 5 quarters. You can't even really say 5 quarters because he was on a pitch count in his last game against the Eagles. He's on a pitch count in that first game he came back. The first game of the season, week 2, we got hurt, I think, on the 3rd drive of the game. So he's barely played 5 quarters of football this season. And Nahshon Wright, no one knew who he was, really, before this season. Tyreek Stevenson, he's missed, I think, 4 games now, 3 games.
Yeah, he's been in and out the lineup too.
Kyler Gordon, he's missed about 7 games this season.
And let's not forget the one of Poe's 2023 draft picks, Terrell Smith, who actually took some time from Tyreek Stevenson last year. He gets hurt in preseason. Nahshon Wright, he's a guy that was probably 5th on the depth chart at cornerback here in camp. And here he is starting and making an impact.
So while we are making the argument of Grady Jarrett, he's made some time. Montez Sweat has been relatively healthy.
Dominic Robinson, Dayo Odebango.
Mm-hmm. Your boy, Necro, he's down. He's down for the count too. It's been
2nd round pick Shamar Turner's came into the season hurt, and then week 4 out for the season.
Jones.
That's a guy they were really dependent on.
Braxton Jones, IR.
Braxton Jones, yeah.
I mean, even though we kind of want to rid ourselves of Braxton Jones, but still, he broke camp as a starter, and he's played. He's been on the he broke camp as a starter. He was not really healthy, and now he's on the IR for an unrelated injury. We don't have to talk about Braxton Jones too much. The replacements have played very well to the point that we don't need to talk about Braxton too much. But he does fit this argument. He is another guy missing in action. I do want to say this. While we are making the argument for Ben Johnson having to navigate injuries, shout out to the assistant coaches, Al Harris, Dennis Allen, Eric Bieniemy, all the guys, because they have.
Man, Eric Bieniemy has done a great job.
Fantastic.
With the running back. Man, DeAndre Swift looks like a whole different back. The way
Mm.
he's finishing runs, the way he's seeing it and being more patient behind his blocks. Shout out Eric Bieniemy. Don't shout him out too loud because I don't want him getting poached. I don't want him getting poached. Shout him out. He might have to get moved up to offensive coordinator next year. We got to keep him on staff.
What happens to Declan? But we'll talk about that later. For the first time in a long time, we ain't got to talk about off-season stuff until the off-season. We doing real life stuff in week 14.
DeAndre Swift has definitely showed me something finishing runs. Like, that has not been something we've seen throughout his career, but he's definitely got more physical between the tackles. I mean, he's finishing runs and then he getting up, doing that little thing. We're going to see a lot of that on Sunday. Hey, Micah, don't pin your ears back because because Darnell Wright is coming across your face.
Oof, the same way he did Jalen Carter.
He does something to somebody every week. Shamar Stewart from the Bengals one week. Abdul Carter from the Giants 1 week. He's been putting Brian Burns. Listen, he's been putting people on posters. If there was a posters for offensive tackle, he's been putting people on posters and making pancakes out of them.
The same you just said, don't put your ears back. Jalen Carter tried to bull rush him a couple of times in his last game. Nah, he smacked them wrists down and moved him out the way so fast. Get out of here, bro. My last argument for Ben to win Coach of the Year, it would have to be the complete turnaround in culture that this team desperately needed after all the nonsense that was surrounding this team last year. With Eberflus not knowing how to manage personalities, not knowing how to manage games, Shane Waldron just being not a good fit for what they had going on here, not being able to cultivate a young, unique offensive personnel that they had for his first year with the Chicago Bears. You had, 2 defensive coaches that were let go in the middle of seasons, and we still don't know why they were let go.
Well, I think we had a running backs coach, a defensive coach let go. Yeah.
It was a rumor that the feds that showed up to Hallisall, but I don't know if that's been substantiated yet.
Absolute crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot going on with this team, and the calming effect that Ben has came in and completely shut all that nonsense down. One band, one sound. I don't know how you give it to anybody else but Ben Johnson right now. The job that he's done, really refreshing to have a grown up as the head coach now. We haven't had that since Lovey. When I still remember
an adult in the room.
Yes, not since Lovey, because Trestman, Nagy, Fox, Eberflus, all brutal. Not what I imagine when you think of Bears coaches. I still remember Lovey's first press conference when he walked in. He said, "Hey, job number 1 is to beat the Packers." I say, that's my guy.
Made good on it that year.
That's my guy right there.
Made good on
exactly.
it. Yeah.
He made good on it that year. We got, obviously, it's Packer week coming up. And a lot can happen in this game. The Bears mess around and win this game. But before we even get there, we talked about the playoff picture in the NFC. It's very crowded right now. You got a lot of good teams. The last team in the playoffs right now is a 9-4 squad out there in San Francisco. So looking at the overall playoff picture in the NFC, you have to actually believe and start thinking about the Bears in terms of contender, right, Q? Do you think this team can actually go on a run? Do you think they have what it takes to win a game or 2 come January?
So objectively speaking, when I looked at this roster and I evaluated what type of coach I thought Ben Johnson would be, I felt the Bears were 1 year away. I felt they were 1 year away from being a team that was a serious contender. I did feel this team would make a playoff push, should end up in the playoffs, but I felt we were 1 year away, one more offseason away. However, looking at the state of the NFC right now and looking at the way the defense continues to take the ball away and the fact that they're getting guys back and Dennis Allen has been able to maintain the ship through all the injuries And the way this team runs the ball, we've been watching football a long time. You know, one way a team can level the playing field in the playoffs in January in the cold is by running the ball. That is a great equalizer. When you can run the ball, you can control time of possession. You can shorten the game. You can extend drives. You get physical. You wear on a defense, and then over the top. What you saw at the end of the game Friday, Caleb Williams got over the top to Cole Kmet. So in short, I know this sounds crazy, but the Bears are legit contenders in the NFC. They are a legit team to go to San Francisco, not once this year, but twice. They have a legit chance. Why not us? Why not us? I think the strongest team in the NFC is the Rams, and we just saw them get beat by the Panthers. Another physical team that likes to run the ball. I think when you play a physical brand of football and you can run the ball, that is a recipe for success in the playoffs. I think Ben Johnson has set this team up to be successful as the season wears on.
That game between the Rams and Panthers was it was a pretty good game. One of the few good games on Sunday. The Rams, you're right. They do run the ball with intention, and their defense isn't talked about enough, but their defense, they got a decent defense.
Yeah, one of the top 5 defenses in this league right now. They're just as good as the Texans, Browns, Broncos.
I won't put them in Texans class yet, but they're good. They're good. You need to put some respect on their name. That's how they was able to keep stay in that game with the Rams, and then eventually call off the upset. For one thing is they capitalized on the Rams' mistakes. When they was able to turn over Matt Stafford, they was able to capitalize on that. And then so the Rams were playing catch up the entire game from that point on. And again, you run the ball with intention, you can make teams bend to your will. Segue to the Bears, who average 180 yards on the ground right now. Come playoffs.
Did you think we would be saying that at the beginning of this season?
No, because remember we was doing our fantasy projections for the running backs room. We said it's DeAndre Swift and nobody. I don't know what we're going to get out of that, because we don't think he's going to make it through the whole season. Now, he did miss one game, and he's been on the injury report pretty much all season, but he's been showing up. He's been showing up and ringing people's doorbells.
Yeah. I think this has been the best version of DeAndre Swift we've seen, including the Pro Bowl DeAndre Swift that we saw in Philly.
Coming back to this, do you think the Bears are contenders? I'm going to ask you, do you think the Bears can win big games in January with Caleb Williams as a role player, Q? Because that may be disrespectful to say for a number 1 pick, a guy who's thought of as highly as Caleb Williams. But to be honest, and we've said it a couple of times on this podcast, he's been bringing up the rear. Ben Johnson said it in the press conference the other day. They're winning in spite of the passing game, and he cleaned it up today. He said, "I'm not just talking about the quarterback; the entire passing game, him included, needs to be better."
I was gonna say, me and you have been watching this thing all year, and this is not all on Caleb. And I know Tiff would be here, and she would be throwing a fit.
You're full of shit.
I think it was our first episode when we rebranded to Good, Better, Best for our reviews. And I was like, man, I had Caleb as my bad, because even though we scored 31 points on those Pittsburgh Steelers, we left a lot of points on the table. And that's been pretty much the thing all season, Q. We leaving opportunities on the table. Yeah, we're top 5 offense. And if you start from week 3, we might be the best offense in the league if you start just from week 3. And even saying that, shout out to Cincinnati, shout out to Dallas, shout out to Pittsburgh. He's had some games in which he's had multiple touchdowns, 3 touchdown games. Yeah. But there's also been the games, especially in the last month, is when he's missing layups. He's missing guys running drag routes. He's throwing them behind him. Dig routes, he's throwing them too high. One of those guys, I forget which one of those games, he got somebody. Cole Kmet got hurt because he threw him into danger. I don't know if it's reached the level of concern yet, Q, but do you think that this is an issue? This is going to be one of the things that hold the Bears back from going on a run this year.
I do think the completion percentage and the efficiency has to increase. The things that I'm concerned about with Caleb are the deep ball accuracy. I feel like I think some of the misses have been amplified because I watch as much football as I can every weekend. If I can't watch the games live, I record them and rewatch them. Guys miss open receivers. It happens. I think there's a lot of angst in Chicago with Caleb Williams being the number one pick, with the Bears penchant for ruining quarterbacks, with the Bears penchant for not developing quarterbacks, with the Bears penchant for not having quarterbacks, period. So I think we need to slow down and enjoy the process of what we're seeing, because I do think we're seeing the development of a special quarterback, of a really good quarterback. I think there are things to clean up, but I have confidence that they will clean up, and I know the numbers aren't quite suggesting it. But the game against Pittsburgh, it wasn't pretty. But other than a TJ Watt gaff where I thought he should have got rid of the ball, he played a much better game than the numbers indicated. I thought against the Eagles, again, wasn't pretty, but he played a much better game than what the numbers suggested. I want to remind people that when Philly is playing good football, Philly can make some really good quarterbacks look very ordinary. For example, Jordan Love couldn't get anything done against Philly. Nothing.
Wait, we're not calling
Jared,
Jordan Love a good quarterback, though, right?
no, he's a
Okay.
cheesehead. So whatever that is. Jared Goff couldn't get anything going against Philly. Mahomes, 2 meetings with Philly in this calendar year of 2025, has not had much success against Philly. So I think sometimes we look at Caleb and we're judging by the stats solely, and the stats aren't bad, but I think we're missing one of the more key developments of Caleb Williams, and that is being able to run an offense. I think the biggest difference between this year and last year is the understanding of quarterback play at a cerebral level, the nuances, the things to do pre-snap, the things to do post-snap, the times to leave it alone. There are way less negative plays. I think he's taken 15 sacks this year, 16 sacks. And I know that's not showing up in the box score, but this is one of the reasons why we're able to be a top 5 scoring offense. The quarterback just avoiding negative plays, avoiding turnovers, avoiding interceptions and strip sacks. So I think yeah, we need a little bit more efficient play out of Caleb, but I think it's coming, and I think I'm not concerned with him in making a run. So I actually think the best Caleb Williams football is yet to be played. I think he's going to get stronger as we go down the stretch.
I hope so, because I actually am worried about that. In this 40th anniversary of the 1985 Bears, I
Oh, is this number
think
40?
this is number
This
40.
is 40.
20th anniversary of the 2025 Bears, because they played in the Super Bowl in 06, right? Or was that beginning of 07?
07. So this is the
Okay.
19-year anniversary of that. Almost close. But
hmm
I see where you're going. I'm looking at the stars and they align it. About every 20 years, the Bears end up in that Super Bowl.
Every generation gets their one.
Count.
This could be our. We might be one of the lucky ones that actually lived through 3. One of the sour spots, and I don't know if you got to see that Super Bowl Shuffle documentary yet, but one of the sour spots of the 1985 Bears is that Walter Payton didn't get a chance to get a touchdown in that Super Bowl. It would be. I would love to see the Bears go ahead and get on top of the mountain and be crowned the champions of the NFL. But if they got to drag Caleb all the way there, it's not going to be as fulfilling as it should be because, one, the kid's got a lot of pressure on him. For two, people were writing him off before he even took a snap in the league just for reasons nothing having to do with the football.
Nothing on the football field.
You remember how this season started, not necessarily the actual season, but going into the offseason, going into camp. It was all that noise about him and his dad trying to get out of coming to Chicago and all that stuff. Now you fast forward to what it is now, you got this issues. Now you're right. A lot of national media isn't harping on the issues with Caleb as of yet because they see the wins and and that's being pushed to the backside. And he is playing a lot better from a quarterback
Which is
perspective.
interesting, and I want to stop you real quick before you get into your next point. How much team wins and losses, that success, do you attribute to the quarterback? Because Caleb Williams' numbers are not much different than last year. Now, I already went into it. There are some nuances that he's understand, but the numbers aren't that much different. In fact, the completion percentage has taken a step backwards, and he's probably on pace to throw one more pick than he did all of last year. How much does the quarterback? Because we've gotten to an era where I feel like, I don't know, the wins and losses that a quarterback has are kind of inflated,
Mm.
or or,
For
or,
one
or
thing,
attributing the wins and losses to the quarterback is kind of inflated.
you said is that he's playing better quarterback, and I think everyone agrees with that. Remember that how we lost that game on Thanksgiving last year. We blame Eberflus.
He
Some
could
of
have called a
that,
timeout.
yes,
He could
some
have
of that
spiked
comes
the
to Caleb
ball.
as
There were
well.
things he could have did.
I think you agree with me. We don't think Caleb today would have that same issue now,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just more comfortable in the clutch. He just understands the offense, and he understands time, situation, and he understands football more today than he did now. He is a 1,000% a better quarterback today, but it's not showing up in all the ways yet. There's plenty of time for that to click. Jared Goff wasn't the best quarterback that he could have been for the Lions for Ben Johnson's offense in year one himself, even as more of a
A
veteran
veteran
in
number one
that.
pick.
Yeah, another number one pick, another veteran, another one pick that had already been to a Super Bowl. So
He been to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Been on deep
so
NFC playoff runs.
he was a lot more seasoned when he got to Ben Johnson's offense, and he wasn't he wasn't perfect for the offense in year one, and Caleb has a lot more growing, a lot more learning to do in his maturation process of being an NFL quarterback too. So I don't necessarily think it has to all show now, but NFL is a tricky business. You have to strike while the iron's hot, because next, shout out to the Minnesota Vikings, it may not be there for you next year, right? I kind of do need him to not be the guy that holds us back. Because can you imagine if we lose a game and he's missing wide open players, and he's having one of those, a good game, 223 yards, 53% completion, a touchdown, and we end up losing. Can you imagine the conversation in the offseason if that's the case? I
Oh,
don't want
there's
to
going to
imagine that.
be. Well, the thing I love about Bears and revisionist history is, one thing the Bears always second guess, Bears fans, is
Mm-hmm.
the quarterback play. 20 years later, everybody's saying Kyle Orton should have played in the Super Bowl. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that version of Kyle Orton was not playing very good football. There's a reason
Mm-hmm.
why they rushed Rex Grossman back in 2005 to replace Kyle Orton. Now, could Kyle Orton won that Super Bowl? Maybe. I think the Bears would have won the Super Bowl if Mike Brown was healthy and Tommy Harris was healthy. So I'm sure you're going to have fans. If Caleb lays a stinker in the playoffs, there's going to be the Tyson Bagent boys coming out of the woodwork. They're in there. They're laying low, but they're still there. But I want to pose to you another concept. The Bears have 9 wins this year. How many of those 9 wins came courtesy of game-winning drives by Caleb?
I think they have 5 game-winning drives this year, right? And
Yeah.
all but one I would actually give to Caleb.
So I think you can alleviate some concern by just knowing that Caleb has showed up all year in the clutch. I don't think, is there a game where you feel like he lost it in the clutch that you could say, hey, this one is on you, of the 3
I
losses?
can't imagine what that feels like, because he's never done in his year and some change as being a professional quarterback. He's never lost a game. Well, again, Thanksgiving last year. I mean, we blame Eberflus, but Caleb could have done some other things too. But I don't
But if
think.
you're the head coach, how are you standing on the sideline not using your timeout?
How does Eberflus do any of the things he did? Not to do anything, because they're doing big things in Dallas right now. Shout out to Eberflus and getting that thing together.
Hey, look, listen, yeah, he's doing what he does best, being a defensive
Mhm,
coordinator,
yeah,
which
make sure you
he always
never
should have been.
make sure you never do anything other than that. Stay a defensive coordinator.
Or linebackers coach. He coaches
Mhm,
linebackers well too. I'll give him that.
Other than that Thanksgiving debacle last year, I can't. I don't- Caleb has never lost a game in the clutch. He's always showed up when in winning time. I can't. I don't even know what that would look like. I'm happy. I'm happy that we do have a quarterback that I do feel comfortable and confident in when it's time to win a game. When it's nut up or shut up time, I feel like we got the best quarterback for the job at that point. Quarterback numbers. Those things you mentioned, his numbers aren't impressive. He right now 122 yards on the season, 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, has a quarterback rating of 88. Coming into the season, Ben Johnson and Caleb, they came out and said their goals for the season was 4,000 yards, 70% completion. We talked about the completion. It's not going to happen unless he's perfect. Couple of games coming up soon. It ain't going to
He'd
happen.
have
It ain't
to
going to get
have
close.
the 5 most accurate games I think we've seen from a quarterback in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd have to probably throw the ball 35 times a game to get enough attempts to overcome that. What is he currently at? 58%? 59?
Right now, he is at 58.1% on the season.
Yikes. Let's just get to 62%.
I think last year he was at 63, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Jesus, it's god awful. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about the 4,000 yards. The Bears have never had a 4,000-yard quarterback in their entire franchise history. God awful. Yes, I know the Bears are still in the dark ages when it comes to quarterbacks, but hopefully, Caleb, fingers crossed, he is going to get us into the promised land. Q, math here. Within the last 5 games of the season, quarterback one, Caleb Williams, would need to average 255 yards per game to get to 4,000. Your level of confidence in him being able to do that, scale of 1 to 5.
A 2.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's not that I don't think Caleb could average 255 yards per game. I don't think it's a necessity with the way the run game is working. And with the way the run game is working, I'm pounding the ball down everyone's throat, pause or no pause, no Diddy, big Diddy. I'm pounding the ball down people's throats, big Diddy style. No baby oil. So I mean, I haven't seen the running game stop right now. So why would I become pass heavy? Especially we're in December. We're gonna have how many more games are left at Soldier Field? You got one left in Green Bay. You got
Cleveland.
one left. You
Cleveland,
got
Detroit. That's 3 games.
so you got 4 games that's gonna be in probably nasty weather.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running the ball. So I don't think the story of our success has to be tied with Caleb getting to 4,000 yards. Um, and I think there's gonna be games like Uh, first of all, I think the Bears are not done making statements. I think Green Bay's in for a surprise. I know you Cheesehead fans are really excited and you're salivating and you think, yeah, the Bears and there's first place and number 1 seed in our sights. Um, it's not going to be sweet. Y'all are going to play a team that you all have not excelled against this season. I've seen physical teams give the Packers lots of fits this year. Panthers, Eagles, and Browns. You're going to get a heavy dosage of that. In fact, you're going to see maybe the best offense. And I know that sounds crazy. You might see the best offensive line play that you've seen this season. I know the Packers have seen the Eagles, but the way the Bears are playing way the Bears' offensive line is playing right now, it might be operating better than what the Eagles is. And the Eagles they've been a little beat up. So, um, but back to the Caleb. No, I think he falls a little short of 4,000 yards, and I'm okay with that. We've got bigger goals now.
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I need to ask it anyway, just for anybody that's watching and that didn't get the hint earlier. Caleb is right now has 58% completion on the season. In your opinion, He's going to come short of the 4,000 yard
Yeah, I think
goal.
so.
So was this a successful season for Caleb as a quarterback?
When Caleb Williams came to the Bears, the thing he said is he's not so much concerned with stats. He's concerned with winning. He wants to leave a legacy of winning. And the Bears are 9-3 in the first seat. Yeah, I think this is a successful season for Caleb Williams. I think what the Bears have done, what Caleb has done, is they've established a culture of winning, a culture of getting it done. Uh, they've been good in the last few minutes. Caleb has been good in the last few minutes of games, in the clutch, in the crunch time. So as of right now, yes, I would say this is a successful season for Caleb because what made it unsuccessful last year? The losses. So I mean, I've seen national pundits, national media, uh, give a lot of credit to Caleb Williams. I looked at something on I can't even remember the site to shout them out, but they had him of the 32 starting quarterbacks. He was number 13 this week, and he was in the top 10 last week of quarterback power rankings. And a lot of it was tied to the team's success. So I think this is a successful year for Caleb Williams.
What we said earlier about him just being growing in the leader portion of the job for being a quarterback. If you just take that and the wins that come out of that manifests out of that, success. We can love individual players, but we're here for the squad. And the squad right now is number one team in the conference, and we hoping for some big things coming through. If Caleb has to be along for the ride and not actually driving the bus, it is what it is. One day he'll be promoted to driving the bus, but right now we trying to do some bear down. Last thing, let's get up out of here because North Carolina is playing.
Shout out UNC.
Yeah, shout out UNC. Another Caleb. Yeah, Caleb Wilson. I got Caleb's in my life right now, and I'm loving it.
Caleb Wilson's going to be a really good basketball player at the next level.
Caleb Wilson, a dog.
Future Bull, C-Red.
You know what though?
Hey,
He would solve a lot of issues with the Bulls. You know, his athleticness, his springs, and his he's walking in the dough 20 and 10. He would solve a lot of issues the Bulls have.
And the Bulls got a lot of issues to solve.
Yeah. On one end of the floor. Pro Bowl, All Pro. Q, how many players you think on this team are going to get some hardware after this season?
So I've actually done a lot of investigation into this, and one of the things fans fail to do when they look at Pro Bowl awards is you got to look at the competition. So earlier I said DeAndre Swift is having a better year than he had in his Pro Bowl year with Philly, but he's not a guy that I'm looking at that really has a strong case to go to the Pro Bowl. And it's nothing against his production this year. Again, he is 13th in the league in rushing, 4.8 yards a carry. He has 774 yards. He's going to set career highs if he stays healthy. DeAndre Swift will finish with north of 1,100 yards. But in the NFC this year, you got Jahmyr Gibbs. He's already at 1,000 yards, 5.8 yards a carry, 10 rushing touchdowns. You got Bijan averaging 5 yards a carry, 5 yards short of 1,000. You got Javonte Williams, a surprise guy, 8 touchdowns, 955 yards. Rico Dowdle, 929 yards. You got Christian McCaffrey. Even though he's not running the ball particularly well, I think he's got he might go over 100 catches this year. Mm-hmm. So I really don't see any of the Bears skill position players, offensive skill position players, making the Pro Bowl, Caleb included, due to a numbers game. But I think Darnell Wright is a shoe-in, not only for Pro Bowl, but he could be all pro. Like I said earlier, he's playing right tackle better than anybody in the NFC right now. And this is the NFC with guys like Tristan Wirfs in it, who is a staple since he got drafted. So Penei Sewell, another staple. But I think Tristan has missed too many games. I think Darnell's been too dominant. I got him going to the Pro Bowl, possibly all pro. Tooney and Dahlman, they have been stabilizing the interior of the line. and they are a big reason why the Bears' running game has been phenomenal. Those 3 guys I got going to the Pro Bowl from the offensive end. Defensive end, I don't think you can ignore Kevin Byard. I think he's the interception leader, or is Nahshon right?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Kevin Byard leads the league in interceptions.
Yeah, he's gonna not only be a Pro Bowler, he's going to probably be an All-Pro, either first or second team. So I think those are my 4. I do have guys that I think have an outside shot. Nahshon Wright, I know Bears fans see him get beat. He's given up some big plays. But do you realize that I think he's been targeted maybe 12th most in the league, but the passer rating against him is only 69.
Diggity.
Defending well in man coverage, and he's a takeaway leader. Then got baked a couple times, but I think a guy that's leading the league in takeaways has a good chance. We saw another guy who tend to give up a couple big plays years ago. Nahshon Vasher made big plays. So I think Nahshon getting there, but for my solid 4, I got Byard, the 3 offensive linemen I named. And I'll tell you who else has a slight possibility of well, I think that IR stint. I was gonna say Tremaine Edmonds, but I think that IR stint that's probably gonna stop his Pro Bowl bid.
I agree with most of the names you said, but there's one name you left off, and I think he's definitely destined for All-Pro. Jonah Jackson.
Yeah.
That right
played
side of
well,
our
too.
offensive line has been it. Not only do I think the Bears have the best offensive line in the league, that right side of the line is the reason why. Ever since the first 2 weeks when Jonah Jackson, he was getting flagged up and down, a lot of bad blocks in week 1. He has been a dog. Him and Darnell Wright. It's not just Darnell Wright together. You've seen Darnell Wright do some nasty cleanup work in pass protection, but it's that run blocking that those two do on that side. I think the Bears run to the right, and I hope I'm not, spilling some beans out there. But if I'm the one that said, I know anybody that's breaking down tape have seen it as well. The Bears run to the right with success a lot, and it's because of those 2 guys, especially with another cleanup block coming behind it. That power run, that zone blocking scheme that we got coming behind those 2 dogs has been the key for this 5-game win streak, and it's because of that. I know Jonah's going to the All-Pro. I know Darnell Wright's going All-Pro because of that.
Do you see 4 offensive linemen going to the Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl? Yeah, I can see that. Pro Bowl is a lot of people get Pro Bowl nods. I can see we have 4 linemen get Pro Bowlers. Joe Thuney, he's certified. He don't get a lot of votes just because of who he is. Drew Dalman might be the guy that might be a little bit of a stretch. But those other 2,
He's never made it.
I'm positive they're gonna not only be in Orlando, they don't get All-Pro talk. And because of that, you're going to actually see your boy, DeAndre Swift, he going to mess around and get a Pro Bowl nod too. You was talking earlier when we had the little hint, he's having his best season since his Pro Bowl season. Right now, with 5 games left, he's got 775 yards. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. He's got 5 tutties and 5 rushing touchdowns. And he's got another touchdown through the on receptions. So, in fact, he does have 1,000 yards.
Who does he knock out, though? Who doesn't go? Because they take 3 in the NFC. Maybe they might take 4 now, because I don't think they take 2 fullbacks anymore. Fullback is functionally extinct. I don't even know why they name a fullback to the Pro Bowl team anymore. They should just do 5 running backs. But who doesn't go? Because I think Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute lock. I think Bijan is a lock. I think McCaffrey, even though the groundwork isn't there, I think he's a lock. And then after those 3, Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs, those 2 guys are having good seasons too.
It's going to be tough. That's why I say he's right there on the edge. His last 5 weeks will tell a lot. But I'm going to say it again. Best offensive line in the league. You brought up Javonte Williams. How many years in Dallas did they have the best offensive line? And that just because of that, running backs were just walking right into the Pro Bowl. Now, I'm not saying that Zeke Elliott and DeMarco Murray. I'm not saying they
Tony
were.
Pollard had a big year there too.
when you have great offensive lines, and you know what that usually means? Historically, that usually means the running back coming with them going to Honolulu, but it's Orlando now. So DeAndre Swift, man, it should be you.
I would love to see it. I would love, but the numbers in the NFC are just tough. I forgot it,
Mhm.
another guy, Kyron Williams, having a good season.
Eh,
NFC is just a loaded. Hey,
I think
he's got the name.
I think him and DeAndre Swift about the same.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not debating that from a skill standpoint, but it's going to be the optics
Mhm.
and the touchdowns. Kyrie got a lot of 1 yard low plunges. He got a
Yeah.
lot of them. He been vultured a couple times too, which is crazy. I don't understand how that works. I do all the work, and then Blake Corum comes in and um, gets over the goal line. But I'm gonna tell you one more sleeper for the Pro Bowl. One more sleeper. This
What you
guy's
got?
quietly having a pretty good season. Montez Sweat. When you look at the edge rushers in the NFC, Montez, surprisingly, he's number 6 in sacks, one behind Aiden Hutchinson. So you got Josh Sweat having a good year in Arizona. But as we have been fans of mediocre to bad teams a long time. One thing that always happens to bad teams around Pro Bowl voting is they get snubbed. Josh Sweat has 11 sacks, but his team's got
Mhm.
3 wins. The good teams get the spoils. So you look at 4 edge rushers going right now. Montez sits number 6 with 7.5 sacks. Aiden Hutchins is ahead of him. Byron Young from the Rams. That's a really good football player, by the way. Byron Young. If you got IDP fantasy, get that guy. He is a tackle and a sack machine. Don't let people snipe you for Byron Young. Get him on your fantasy team. Uh, you got Micah Parsons. You got Brian Burns. One injury, Montez could be in business. I could see him ending up in the Pro Bowl. Second and forced fumbles, by the way, in the conference too. Second and forced fumbles.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good outside shot. I really do like our offensive linemen getting there. I think those are solid. Then Byard, I think that's a solid pick. Holmes should be here. We'll talk about more about that later. We'll talk about that in the offseason, whenever that happens for the Bears. Probably late February, if we keep going at this pace. But yeah, Q, you got anything else?
Nothing. Bear down. This is really an exciting year, y'all. This is going to be our first run into the playoffs. I'm excited for this journey of this podcast in the playoffs. Like and subscribe. Stick with us. Like I said, it's going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking Bear football in January. Not talking about coaching changes. Not talking about are we sticking with the quarterback. This is good time. Hey, get on this bandwagon. Hold on, time out. One more thing. Did that train leave? Or we told people earlier in the year, get on this bandwagon, right? We said get on. Don't be in or out. Punch your ticket, get on. When you see them doors open, don't stand and wait for the next train. Are we still letting people onto this wagon? Can they still
Nah,
get on?
we doing just like we do on a red line when people hold the door, being a little asshole, you push them right out. No, you get on the train, bro. Bear down.
Bear down.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.